Is it possible to animate things in Minecraft? It's actually quite simple, without absurdly complex redstone constructions or various mods. It's been dormant in Minecraft all along, and all you need is a single block type. If you're interested in how to bring your Minecraft builds to life, then stay tuned.
Well, we all know what animations are. They come in all different shapes. They can be drawn, they can be CGI or created as stop motion. And that's supposed to work in Minecraft? Absolutely. All we need is several frames which we play one after the other at a certain frame rate. But how do you do it in Minecraft? I asked myself this question a while ago and had very complicated ideas on how to implement it. But then my mate Rufus came up with a brilliant idea. By the way, you should definitely check him out. He's a fantastic builder and a pretty clever mind. He asked me the question,
what about structure blocks?
And this idea changed everything. But what is a structure block?
A structure block is used to generate structures manually. They can also be used to save and load structures, alongside structure void blocks.
Okay, this sounds perfect. After some research and testing I noticed it worked. I finally wanted to realize my first animated project. And of course, I could count on Rufus' help. We built a variety of frames on the bakery server and created an extremely unusual and unique build. After that, I couldn't help. I have to enhance all my builds with nice little animations. I love it. And in the comments I could see that I wasn't the only one. Even completely animated builds were now possible, all with the one and the same technology. In my opinion, the structure block fundamentally changed Minecraft for all time. But how does it all work? What you see here is a test field. And in this test field we will start the small animation. We will try to make our animations take place in this white square. Oh, hello. And all within these yellow borders using the structure block. But more on that in a moment. Now to get a structure block you need to do the following. Open the console and enter /give your player name, Minecraft, and structure block. So, this is a structure block. This is what it looks like. This block can have a name and a relative position, but what's even more important, the structure block has different modes. By default, the block is set to load. This means the block loads the structures. Then we have the corner mode. However, this is absolutely not important for this video, so for the sake of simplicity, I would completely ignore it. And then there's the save mode. This, on the other hand, is very important, and we will need a save block and a load block in each animation. To start, let's remove this now. What we intend to do is save mutable structures in a structure block. We do this with a save block you just saw, and then load and play them one by one with a load block, frame by frame. I would say in theory it all sounds a bit complicated, but let's just start directly. We start with 2 blocks, and to keep it simple, ideally placed like this. If we display the coordinate system, you will see these 3 axes. The x-axis, the y-axis and the z-axis. And it's easiest to position the blocks as if they were between these axes. Let's build a 1. I just noticed the colors might be chosen a bit awkwardly. Let's just use cyan so that color stands out a bit better. Okay, we now have the 1. Now it comes to the exciting part. Now we define this area. We do this with a save block. We set the structure block to save, and now we need to add the relative position. Let's set everything to 0 for now. At 0, 0, 0 is right here on this block. And now we add a 1 on the x-axis and the z-axis. This also means, of course, we need to switch back to save. This is exactly the place where the load block is positioned. Now we need to define the size of the animation area. Let's start with 10 by 10 by 10, just to illustrate. Now you see the bounding box that has appeared. It starts exactly here at the load block. But as you can see, this is not yet complete. What we are missing is here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 blocks forward. There we defined that it should be here. Now the frame looks perfect in terms of length. Now we need to do the same for the width. This means another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blocks to make it 17. And yeah, the area is defined. In terms of height, it fits too. It's actually a bit too high, but we can leave it like that. The area is finally now defined. And now we do almost the same with the load block. Here we actually need to set everything to 0. That's basically it. You will find out what's going on with that in a moment. So everything you build in here, everything within this box will be the first frame, and that will be saved as that. But before we start with the animation, we need to build one more thing. We take a repeater, we take some redstone dust, and we simply place them in the front now. It will become clear in a moment why you need to do this. Everything we now have inside this bounding box should be our first frame. To save it now, we go to the save block and type frame _ 0 1. But do not press save yet. We need to go to our load block once and define frame _ 0 2. This means that in frame 1, frame 2 will already be loaded. You can imagine it schematically like this. Frame 1 automatically loads frame 2. Frame 2 automatically loads frame 3. We do this until frame 5 for now, which loads frame 1 again, and creating an endless loop. And now our load block is set. Don't be surprised, there's automatically a Minecraft in front of it, but we can simply ignore that. It's okay. Now we go back to our save block and we see, yes, we have frame 1 here and we want that, so we press save. And we have our first frame. Now we simply build a 2 out of it. This is now frame number 2. And at the same time, frame number 3 should be loaded here. We do this again with the load block. We simply set it to 3. And yes, this is now frame number 2, which we saved here in the save block. So again, everything what you see in the bounding box is now frame number 2. You can see we saved the structure 1 and the structure 2. And now we just repeat this process. Now we want to create frame 3. Oh god, these are really not beautiful numbers. But never mind, it will be enough to understand. So here we now have our 3 and enter frame 4 here. Then we enter frame 3 again in the save block and save it. What we have done again is created frame 3, but refer to frame 4 with the load block. And that's exactly what we're doing now. We're turning 3 into 4. We now load frame 5, but save frame 4. Do the same thing again for 5. But here's a special case. This time we don't refer to frame 6, simply because frame 6 don't exist in this animation. Instead we start the loop again from here and refer to frame 1. Now we save frame 5 here, press save, Here we have now our 5 saved structures. You can see them quite well here. What we've done now is basically we refer from frame 1 to 2, from 2 to 3, from 3 to 4, from 4 to 5, but from 5 back to 1, and so it repeats itself over and over again. And now let's play it. We have prepared everything for that now. This repeater you see in the front is just there so that Minecraft doesn't crash. It's not there, the load block tries to load all frames at the same time, and yes, your game will crash. For this apparatus that we are building now, we need 2 repeaters in the front. You will see what it looks like in a moment. This apparatus was thought up by the YouTuber The Joecraft, who is truly a master in this area and has made a fantastic video about all structure blocks. He came up with this idea that we put 2 repeaters in the front, and with this apparatus you can easily start and stop the loop. That's the core task of this thing. Now we attach a redstone torch here, and the repeater is locked. It should look like this. To start the animation, now we simply take a lever here and place it on this block in front, and yeah, just activate it. And as you can see, the numbers now go from 1 to 5, just as we built them. However, it's a bit fast now, and to slow it down a bit, we have to remove the whole apparatus again and extend the input signal. But for that, we have to go into each frame again, but this is okay because the animation is manageable. And then we do the following. We simply add a repeater here, extending the signal a bit, and set the start signal here. Save this as a new frame 1. And now we load frame 2 manually. You can do this directly at the load block now. Nothing happens right away, but it says position prepared. Press load, and here you see it again. This is still our old apparatus. So we put another repeater in between here to extend the signal, save this as number 2, and repeat this now until number 5. Now we build exactly the same thing we just built. And now it should run much slower than before. Perfect. As you can see, the signal now takes longer to travel through, and we could now add more repeaters, and then it will be even much slower, which is useful, for example, when you're making a time lapse. If everything is set up, you can even destroy the save block. The animation will still work because everything is now saved in the load block. However, it will be a bit more challenging if you have a correction in between. Then you have to rebuild the save block exactly as it was. So, those were the basics of animation with structure blocks. Yeah, let's move on to something a bit more complex. This is a windmill. As you can see, there are no rotors yet, and these are the frames we need. I've prepared them just before, so we don't have to follow the entire construction process. It's important to know that we have 16 frames. It starts here. Here we start with frame 1, this is frame 2, and this is frame 3. And back there is frame 16. We want to gradually attach these rotors to the windmill and save them with the structure blocks. As you can see, I've already created the bounding box by placing a save block here. Here are the coordinates of it, 1 in the x-axis and -3 in the z-axis. This means we have to work with minus coordinates this time because we didn't place the structure block there We could have done that too, but for demonstration I want to place it here so you can see it doesn't have to be there. So we have -3 in the z-axis and 1 in the x-axis, and this is where the bounding box starts, which makes sense that we place the load block here. We could place it elsewhere, it would then be much more complicated, so it's best to place it in this corner. Again, it's important to set this to 0, otherwise it will load the next frame too high and the whole loop is destroyed as well as a build. What we do now, we get the first frame, this one. We got the position, copy the entire thing. It's best to copy it in a way that you can paste it in the right place again. And paste it here. Okay, we were too low. And now we're there. That's our frame 1 and we save that as frame 1. We do that right away and want to load frame 2. But what we must not forget is that we have to incorporate our automation here. It should copy itself over and over again. Okay, this means we enter, for example, WM2 and the frame is WM1. This means we now have what you see in the bounding box, which is now WM1 with the load block inside loading WM2. The next step is again, we get frame 2. This is frame 2. Oops. This is now frame 2. Great. Now we have frame 2, but we want to refer to frame 3 in this frame already. Yeah, we do it like this. We go here and simply change 2 to WM3 and save it as WM2. And we press save again. Okay, here see we saved the structure WM1 and the structure WM2. Next we save the structure WM3, but I will make a small time lapse for frame number 3 to 15, which is this one. And at frame number 16 we will see each other again, and yeah, see you in a bit. I have now created a small time lapse of all frames from 1 to 15. The last one we need is frame 16. And let's get this now. We make our selection, copy the windmill. This is now frame 16. We now need to save frame 16 and refer to frame 1, so the loop starts again. Let's do that now, and here we simply remove the 6. We are back to WM1, starting fresh, and here we save WM16. So the load block is now loaded with all these frames we have here. Attach a switch here and start our loop. You see, it works. Let's see what we see up here. Yeah, the windmill is running. Playing through 16 frames from there to there. You could also delete the save block, this one here, but never delete this one. Otherwise your loop is lost and you have to redo everything on the save block. But you can now remove it, and you can also delete all these frames here. They are all saved in this load block now. We can also turn off the windmill at any time. The beauty is we can also bring the signal forward. for example, from here. Or not, because it's too weak. So we can also bring levers to redstone circuits where we need them to activate a loop from any way you want. And yeah, that's all about the windmill. If you made it this far and the video has already helped you, I would be really happy if you could like the video and maybe leave a subscription. These videos are really hard to produce and they're very time consuming, and that would definitely motivate me to make more YouTube videos. I would be very happy in this case. Okay, I have one more little thing what you can do with these structure blocks. Basically, it's not really an animation, but it works with the same technique. And for that, let's look on spot 3. So, what do we have here? This is a table lamp. Pretty normal, but it doesn't light up. I want to show you something you can do with the same technique as how this windmill works. It's not that complicated. For this, I would just go into the night. Oh, what a beautiful full moon. We have 2 blocks here. And on this we can make the lamp light up. And we can turn it off. And that's our structure 1. So I've named it simply on. You can of course name it whatever you want. Then we have structure 2, which is simply called off. I practically placed the bounding box right where the lamp is. You can see the relative coordinates here. These are the positions where the structure is loaded. Here as well. It's actually exactly the same, only that it has shifted 2 blocks further on the x-axis. Now provide this with a nice circuit. Let's see up here. Then we only need 1 lever and you can turn the lamp on and off. And as you can see, the switch is quite far away. This means if we place this lamp and these redstone contraptions somewhere else, then we can now also install room lightings in various places. We can create any new type of sorts of lamps or something else. So if you're wondering what kind of circuit this is, it's quite simple. This here is an off structure, and this is the on structure. The relative positions are different, of course, but they both control this bounding box. And yes, with this circuit here, we have a negation of the signal. This way we can control one or the other block with a switch. If you want, I can make a separate tutorial for this, but it's the same technique as the other things we've done. Just that we don't have a loop here. Yeah, and this is something I wanted to show you. If you subscribe to the channel, you will definitely see a video about these things. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed the video. Sure, it probably won't work on the first try. I also needed several attempts at the beginning. But if you managed to learn worldedit, you can easily handle this. We will see each other at the next time.